Well, hello, you're on Air Wagner. We're showcasing November 421 Juliet Lima, 1977 421C. We're in Oakland. We're flying back to Auburn, and we're going to go through the systems and show you what this plane has. It's going on the market for sale. We have worked hard on this. When I say we, I mean the shop in Auburn, and we've done some paint and restoration work, and the main thing is I make this plane like it was going to be for my use, because on these 421s, you know, the engines are huge and a main component that needs to be working properly. And so these are mid-time engines, 715 and 760 on each engine. And I had a top overhaul, nickel cylinders. We had the best shop in the country do the top overhaul, Performance Aviation out of Arkansas. And we sent all the cylinders back. 8 of them failed because they had a crack on the fuel injector boss. And so we found 12 good ones, and they were rebuilt. And the important thing is they were done in nickel, which will last the entire life of the engine. And the other thing on these 421s is the exhaust. 12-year mandatory retirement. Well, these were a few years away, and I didn't send out the exhaust to be recertified. We put on new exhaust. So this plane has a top overhaul, new exhaust, and many other things. But right now, we're going to get the plane up in the air, and we'll go over a lot of the features. Okay, so Robert, you have the radio. I'll give you back the volume, and let's blast off.
Oakland Ground, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima.
421 Juliet Lima, Oakland Ground.
At the port-to-ports, information Tango. Like to get a VFR flight following to Auburn today for 421 Juliet Lima.
Number 1 Juliet Lima, runway 28 right, taxi via Delta Charlie. On departure, maintain VFR at below 2,500. Stand by just a moment for squawk code.
28 right, Delta Charlie, maintain VFR at below 2,500, 1 Juliet Lima.
Number 1 Juliet Lima, squawk 4262.
4262, 1 Juliet Lima.
So there's Robert putting in the squawk on the GTN 750. Got a GNS 430, both of them are WAS, and the crossfill. We also have the G600, same as my other airplane. And the feature we like best is this one.
P2 audio advisory system. Gears down for landing.
Check gear. Overspeed.
System test complete.
The other thing that we did was we had the air conditioner gone through, and new compressor, and recharged with Freon, and so the air conditioner, which is pretty vital for these pressurized twins, is working properly. This plane has Cessna 800 autopilot, 800B autopilot. There's a mode selector. GAD 43E, which allows you to pre-select the altitude here on the G600, which we'll demonstrate in flight. The plane spent quite a while at executive autopilots getting the autopilot dialed in. And you say, what do you mean by dialed in? We went on numerous test flights. They had the computer out in the back, and we were dialing in the intercept angles and the capture rate, and made sure the glide slope was on and the altitude hold was correct, so the autopilot is working like the day it came out of the factory. And we're going to demonstrate that today also. All right, we're going to go through the checklist, and the checklist will also give an idea of some of the items on it. So, Robert, let's start with checklist.
Throttle setting 1500 RPM.
All right, we're going to take the throttle up to 1500. Help me on the brakes. Check.
Fuel boost pumps on low.
Take the boost pumps, put them on low. Check.
Clean mixture as required.
Check.
Left and right hydro flow lights off.
They are off.
33, taxi via.
Alternators, regulator switch to activate. Check for charge.
They are charging.
Magnetos check.
Bank check. Now we got to make sure they drop. There's one left, right, left, right. All four back on.
Propellers check feathering to 1200 RPM. Return to high.
33, taxi via Foxtrot Charlie, and just take in your type.
Check.
Vacuum source check.
Vacuum source is down here. That's check.
Oil temperature check. Green arc.
We got left engine looks good. Right engine looks good. Check.
Throttles 900 to 1000 RPM.
Bring our throttles back. Check.
Trim control set to take off.
Check. We also have electric trim. You can see it here on my thumb, and it's rolling on its own. Check.
Alternate air check in.
Check.
Wing flap 0.
Check.
Flight controls check free and correct.
Check.
Cabin doors, windows, closed lock door warning off.
Check. The door warning is off.
Fuel quantity.
Fuel quantity is good. We have a Insight G4. Once you flip to the screen that shows the fuel. There's the fuel. What's it say?
61 on board.
Okay.
Fuel selector to main check detent.
That'd be down here. That's check.
Emergency crossfeed shut off.
Check.
Flight instruments radio set.
Okay, so we're 18.3. That's the tower. And we're good here. We got the barometer set, 3021. Check.
Annunciator panel check.
All the lights that work are supposed to work. That's the other thing on this plane, is everything that's installed is working. There's nothing that doesn't work. We went to great lengths to make sure all the lights, all the switches, everything was working.
Gear warning, AAS, press to test.
P2 audio advisory system. Gears down for landing.
Check gear. Overspeed.
System test complete.
Cabin pressurization switch set to field elevation plus
So,
500.
Cabin pressurization, very simply, sea level here at Oakland, and we're going to add 500. Check.
Ice protection not required.
We're not below 40 degrees, so we're okay. We're at 59 degrees.
Fuel boost pumps on low, full rich mixture.
Okay. The only thing that we didn't mention is
3 Tango Pop, taxiing to Ranch
that by the time you watch this video, the spoiler installation and the speed brakes will be done. You can see the wing is clean right now. We have the kit in the hangar. The shop's going to start Monday, and we'll have spoilers on this plane. So we're all good here. Now on the avionics, we have, like I said, the GTN 750 here, the G600 here. We got USB charging ports there. The 430 WAS. We have a Garmin
GMA 350.
GMA 350. We plug in here to talk, use our telephone, and listen to music. Now we also have an iPad. Once you put it on the synthetic vision, we have the iPad that's in the sun, so it's hard to see, but you can see that we have Garmin Pilot running on the iPad mini, and then you got your usual 6-pack on this right side. So now we're going to put this handheld camera down. One more thing, it does have the rudder locks, so that you can lock the rudders without having to put rudder locks outside. And I do believe we're ready to go. Let's put the back on 80%.
28 left, cleared for the option 1 Mike.
Put this camera down. So while we're waiting, what do you have in here? You have, yes, Oakland, Sac, Auburn. Why don't you go ahead and put it direct to Auburn, and we'll intercept that on the autopilot as we take off.
Oakland Tower, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima is holding short 28, right?
Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima, Oakland Tower, roger. Turn right on course, wind 2707, runway 28 right, clear for takeoff.
28 right, cleared for takeoff, 421 Juliet Lima.
Okay, now there is a performance page on the G4, but we're just going to go fuel flow right now, listen for the engines, and then airspeed.
Runway 33 for departing traffic.
Hold short 33, 10.
Okay, full power, nice and slow. Here comes the fuel flow.
Tower 1, Mike.
Fuel flow's alive.
Fuel flow's good, airspeed's alive. 70,
Cross check.
Tower 1, Mike. Make sure to
80,
cross check.
left clear for the option.
90, we rotated 95.
Yep.
Tap the brakes, put the gear up.
Runway 28 left, clear to land.
We're right turn on course.
Oakland Tower, Pipe 40746 on the localizer, 28 right.
Set to 244-908, copy your traffic.
So once you recenter the magenta line for Auburn,
Number 2, runway 28 left, clear to land.
Alright, number 2, 28 left, clear.
climb out of blue line.
Golden Eagle 1 Juliet Lima, radar contact the altitude.
Climb through 800, 1 Juliet Lima.
Number 47046, Oakland Tower, make straight and runway 28 right, your number.
Okay, there's 1,000 AGL. We're going to bring the power back. 32.5 inches of manifold pressure.
Roger.
1900 RPM.
Low approach.
Pull the fuel back a little bit. Fuel pumps off one at a time, one alligator, two alligator.
746, make a right downwind on the go.
And then we're going to turn the autopilot on and put it on nav. And he's at 2,500 on the altitude, so we'll go 2,500. And then if you see here, you hold altitude and it arms it.
46, runway 28 right, clear for the option.
Gear is up.
Gear.
746,
And she's saying that because
Golden
she's...
Eagle 1 Juliet Lima, contact NorCal 120.9.
Check gear.
120.901 Juliet Lima.
So I wanted to go below blue line to show you that she thought we were in a landing speed and the gear wasn't extended.
NorCal Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima is checking on with you, climbing through 2,300.
Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima, NorCal approach. Altitude your discretion outside of Bravo, resume on navigation.
Altitude our discretion outside Bravo, on navigation, 1 Juliet Lima.
Okay, so we're going to just stop at 2,500 here. I want to show you how the pre-select works. There it's armed, and then if you look over here, the mode selector, the altitude light has come on, and it shows that we're on nav, autopilot's on, and we're on nav 1. All right, so here in the Oakland area, the Bravo in front of us is 4,000. We got a headwind of 7, as you can see here. So we're going to take the altitude, and we're going to go to 3,500. Now, we're going to take it off altitude hold, and then we're going to press this in to arm it. It's armed, as you can see it here. And then we're going to take the autopilot and tell it to pull it up. So what we did, not we did, but what we had done with the autopilot, I'm going to turn the air conditioner off now, you're pretty good at that,
Yep.
right? Is, okay, you see the heading bug over here? We're going to take the heading bug, and we're going to go over here to the mode selector, and we're going to change it to heading. And you can see how the plane is now turning. You look out the window, you can see the turning, the horizon there. It's going to turn to that heading.
Alaska 20, contact Oakland Center 119.
Now I go back over here to the mode selector,
1375.
press nav, and we're going to roll out on 345. And you'll see it here in this camera that we're going to go back and intercept the same radial that we were on earlier. Robert mentioned the Garmin 350, GMA 350 audio panel. This also has the voice feature where you can, there's a button here, right here that you press in. COM 2, and it'll It'll switch to COM 2.
Check there, 940.
And then we also have on the yoke the go around switch, autopilot disconnect, trim disconnect, and the pitch sync you can ident right here. Electric trim I mentioned earlier, and of course the push to talk switch. So you can see we've leveled off 3,500. We've intercepted the radial for the Magenta to fly to for Oakland, Oakland to Auburn. So on the G4 inside engine monitor, once you flip it, Robert, show us each engine's page. So you can, we like to watch both of them, but you can watch it now. Here's the left.
Juliet Lima, contact SABS approach 119.9er.
119.9er, 1 Juliet Lima, good day. Travis, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's checking on 3,500.
Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima, Travis proceed, Travis altimeter is 3018.
So we'll change the barometer here, 3018. All right, so this is showing the left engine now?
Yep, left engine.
Okay.
There's both, back to right. And we have a couple more pages. There's EGTs and CHTs for the left.
Which are also graphed on the main page.
Yep, there's the ones for the right. EGT variation, vibration, takeoff G-force, 2-axis turbulence, live dynamic G-force,
which we're a little bumpy right now.
Yep, this is a snapshot if we had any. And then here's theoretical horsepower and, gallons per hour.
So get it back to the main page that we watch when we're flying, which the graphs. There, I guess that one. And then the blue at the top, it's hard to see in this little camera. Why don't you read what the blue is telling us?
On the top left, we got RPM. Then we have volts next to it. And on the top right, we have gallons per hour for both left and right. And then on the bottom, we have manifold pressure, outside air temperature,
and bumps.
Yep.
And the tall graph is the TITs, the turbo inlet temperature.
Yep.
And that's what we, tune to in the mid 1500s. And it'll go orange as a reminder if you get over 1600 for the temperature. And there, that's the panel. So before, we want to show one other thing that this plane has, which is a feature on the G10 750, is we have the weather, we have the radar. So I use this a lot.
And we have the upgraded radar.
Yeah, this is the GWX-70, not the 68 that's in my plane. So there's showing and is drawing the ground, so we're going to tilt it up. And you have the same thing over here. You want to put it on the G600. You could
contact NorCal approach 120.9er.
120.9er, thank you.
You can put it right here and
Romeo, no traffic orbiting you in Napa. Correction. Rio Vista Airport, radar service terminated.
And see the radar.
Change proof.
4610 Romeo.
So there it is, drawing simultaneously, and it's separate from this one on the GWX-70. The tilt, we're going to change the tilt to be the same. And that's a wonderful tool to have. Here we're going to just go back to the main page. Now also, before we do anything else here, this has a which is it? A GDL 69A. So you have music. You can listen to satellite radio. And there's a music button here. Turn it on.
Generation of hip-hop superstars was born on Sound.
We don't want to play this very long because we get a copyright infringement and they'll take down the video. So that's the long and short of that. I mentioned earlier the Garmin Pilot here on the iPad Mini. This feature with the synthetic vision is very nice. You can also get the gauges at the bottom. You can configure that the way you want. But once you go to the home, go to the scratch page, scratch pad. And here you got our clearance that we got coming in today. You can write on that. There's 3 or 4 different pages for that. Go ahead and hit the home page and go to the map. So it's a regular Garmin Pilot 4-flight, and it's also connected to the other instruments and by a Flightstream 210. So we're going to leave it on traffic. So we get traffic here. We get traffic on the 430. We get traffic here. We get traffic here. And they all, it'll audio alert if you're not paying attention. So why don't we go through a trip around the G600 on this plane. So here we are. It's 1500 local, 3 o'clock. Outside air temperature is 43. We got a headwind of 20, crosswind of 15. Our true airspeed 194 knots here at 3,500 feet. That's the beauty of a Golden Eagle. We're indicating 186 knots, and our ground speed is 174. And we're going to Auburn. We are going to pick up an approach into Auburn, VFR practice approach, to show you the RNAV. Now you notice that this is locked in. Even though we got 25 knot wind pushing us over, the GPSS is locking us in. 3,500 on the bug, and that's where we're at because we're pre-selected for altitude. Not just an alert, I mean it locks it in. And 3018 straight and level. You can see here our position, and it also shows the traffic. It does all the it's a G600, so it does everything you want it to do. Weather, the auxiliary page. Let me go ahead and turn this.
1 Juliet Lima, contact NorCal approach 125.25.
12525, 1 Juliet Lima, good day.
Southwestbound.
So we can ask them for the approach,
123.7.
and we'll show you on this camera here the approach and how that works into there.
Requesting officer, change to pick up the weather, executive.
Number 7 Julie Golf, exchange approved, report back on.
We'll report back on, exchange approved, 7 Julie Golf.
NorCal Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's checking on level 3,500 with request.
Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima, NorCal approach, segment altimeter 3020, go ahead.
3020, we have a IFR in the system, but we'd like to do a practice IFR approach 07 into Auburn for 421 Juliet Lima.
Number 1 Juliet Lima, roger. You looking to do a practice IFR and go miss with the published approach? Published miss?
We'll be a full stop on the ground at Auburn for 1 Juliet Lima.
Remember 1 Juliet Lima, roger. So you're just looking to pick up pop-up IFR for the RNAV full stop?
That's correct, 1 Juliet Lima.
Remember 1 Juliet Lima, reset transponder squawk 4631.
4631, 1 Juliet Lima.
November 7 Kilo Mike, begin descent at or below 6,500.
What I also wanted to mention is we have a heated windshield, and
Hotel, contact exec tower 119.5.
it's heated vertically from here. The only parts of the windshield that aren't heated are the sides from top to bottom. And it has a high and a low setting, which is better than the serial numbers that were below 200 on the 421s. So some of the particulars on the plane before we get our clearance into Auburn. Total time is 7,800 hours. No damage history.
1 Juliet Lima, begin to climb VFR to 5,000. I'll have your clearance shortly.
BDKing a VFR climb to 5,000 for 1 Juliet Lima.
Okay, so we'll put it in here, and then we'll hit arm,
2,700, descend to 2,000.
and then we'll start climbing, and it'll automatically, I'm going to lower him just a bit, it'll automatically lock us in to our 5,000.
We have information uniform, and we'd like to request the ILS runway 2 into executive circling to land.
What else this plane has, it's got 2 auxiliary gas tanks. That's a bonus for a 421, so it holds 262 gallons. The propellers are fairly new, 285 hours on the propellers, And I had them resealed in January of this year, 2024. If any of you follow twin Cessnas, you know the Twin Cessna Flyer and TAS Aviation in Ohio. They did the annual on this 2 years ago. And then we had 907 Aviation in Ohio do the next annual. Pedostatic is current, of course. Got Vortec generators, known ice airplane. I went through all the
over near the cooling towers.
All the avionics. And a little bonus, you got a flat card compass. Hard to see, it's a little dark in this camera because it's getting the backlight.
November 1 Juliet Lima, clear to the Auburn Airport via direct Rossi, direct, maintain 5,000.
Clear to the Auburn Airport via direct Rossi, then direct, maintain 5,000, 1 Juliet Lima.
All right, so let me get...
1 Juliet Lima, read back correct, and advise with the 1 minute weather.
We got the 1 minute weather at Auburn, 1 Juliet Lima.
Central aircraft, minute prior to parachute activity over the load.
So Robert's going to pick the approach. Then he's going to load Rossi.
496, contact Capital Tower 125.7.
And we're going to go to Rossi. And he said 5,000. Yep. So there it is. It's depicting here. And the chart is showing up here on the 750. It does it at 50 miles or less. There you can see the chart if I go in really close on it.
Check 191, thank you. You're 6 miles from the final approach phase. Maintain 2,000 tall steps from the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 30 approach.
Maintain 2,000 until we intercept the localizer. Cleared for the ILS 02 into.
So we're 8 minutes to Rossi. The plane lived part of its life in Canada, and cold up in Canada. They have installed 120 volt engine heaters that are still on there. We put wheel speed covers on it, pick up a little speed.
Number 1 Juliet Lima, contact approach 127.4.
127.4, 1 Juliet Lima.
Number 7.
Well, Robert, switching. We got rows and sun visors on both sides.
NorCal Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's checking on level 5,000, direct Rossi.
Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima, NorCal approach, roger.
So the important thing is whatever's on here works. The light in the baggage compartment wasn't working. There was an open wire somewhere, and we told the shop, during the
traffic 2 to 3 o'clock.
repair that
Looks like they're going to be just.
we need to have that fixed.
100.
And it took them a day to trace the wire to an open in the wing route, and they fixed that. So the lights work.
Okay, approach 25754. We're at 3,000.
It was missing the lights for the baggage area. We ordered the switches, and those are installed, had them put on, and we have lights there now. I mentioned it has fuel tanks. Here's the transfers.
Traffic 11 o'clock, 4 miles maneuvering, 3,300 sky.
So you can see those work.
Cessna 754, traffic 12 o'clock, 3 miles northwest.
There's 28 gallons
3,500 Diamond Star.
per each of those, and then 103 gallons in the main tanks. Gives you 262 belted potty naturally. So now we're going to switch to our RNAV checklist. All right, Robert, once you load the approach check, so we're going to go over to here. So, circle to land 25 not available at night. Airport's at 1538. Missed approach, which we did the other day.
Yep.
Is climb to 5,000 direct APFI, and then turn left to 311 to Ukaja and on track, and we're going hold. Usual suspects, Sidsku Yatfi.
Juliet, radar service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved.
And we're category Bravo, so it's 1848. Menu, that minimum is enter. 1, 8, 48. Enter pops up here. Okay, set minimums, when on an inbound course, activate vectors to final, take it off GPSS, arm the approach, confirm glide slope capture. So with the Cessna 800B, you strictly put it on nav, and that's where we're at now. So truly, it's set up for the approach.
Juliet Lima, descend to maintain 4,000.
Down to 4,001 Juliet Lima.
Okay, so we go to altimeter.
Traffic to the northeast, down no factor. Altitude, your discretion.
Down to 4,000. And then we have to hold this down to arm it. It's armed. And down we go to 4,000. Now, I didn't mention this.
60 Charlie, previous traffic, no factor, additional traffic.
Hard to see on this camera, so let me pull out this handheld. What we have is this glide slope localizer glide slope receiver, which is tied to the second Garmin unit, the 430 WASP. So you can do double ILS approaches. And it's a backup, but with the GTN 750 and the 600, all you really use the 430 for is for a radio.
November 1, Juliet Lima, descend to maintain 3,000, and at Rossi, join the transition for Sitsu, and the next controller will have the clearance for you.
We're descending to 3,000, then we'll join the transition to Sitsu and expect it from the next controller, 1 Juliet Lima.
So we're armed, 3,000. I changed it on the 600. So here's the look out the side, the left wing. Robert, show us the right wing. Make sure we got 2 wings on here.
6 miles southwestbound. Actually, it's like they were maneuvering there for a minute. 10,000.
So since we're
okay, look at 7 November, go.
IFR, practice IFR in VFR conditions.
November 1, Juliet Lima, just let the next controller know you're doing the Rossi transition. Contact approach 125.4.
125.4, we'll let them know, 1 Juliet Lima. NorCal Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's checking on with you, descending through 3,500 for 3,000, doing the Rossi transition to Sitsu and VFR conditions.
November 1, 421 Juliet Lima, NorCal approach. You want to do it VFR or do you want to stay IFR?
We'd like to do it in VFR for 1 Juliet Lima.
November 1 Juliet Lima, so you're canceling IFR at this time?
We'd like to cancel IFR at this time, 1 Juliet Lima.
Juliet Lima, IFR cancellation received, maintain VFR, and I'll have your clearance here for the approach shortly.
Maintain VFR, 1 Juliet Lima.
So we got the turn to from Rossi to Siskiyou. They were just flipped here. 3 minutes to Siskiyou, so we can start cooling down. So we're altitude holds now 3,000. Just settling in here. What's the wind again?
250 at 8, straight down the runway.
Okay, but we got to do the circle to land.
Yep.
So we're going to break off. Our secondary minimums are 1848, but what we're going to do instead is it 2400? For the, it is. It's circling 2400, so we're going to set that, we're going to change that 2,400. Enter, and here it comes here. So we're doing our Papa Gumps, so pressurization, field elevation plus 500, check. Air conditioner is off, prop sync is off, auxiliary pumps are on, and gas is on mains. Inward are 3,000 here. We're going to cross Siskiyou at 3,000 and head inbound. And we got the nav, so all we have to do is when we're inbound, we're going to activate vectors to final. Pressurization, showing how that's working as it's supposed to. Showing us field elevation, cabin pressure elevation just under 1,000. So we got 2 minutes to Siskiyou. So we're going to put this plane on the market probably next month. Look for it on controller. I'll put my email address here if anyone wants any early information on it. Jerry7Wagner@gmail.com. So we're at our 20 inches of manifold pressure, RPM, top of the green.
1,700 climbing to 2,000.
Mixture's up. We'll be making the turn here in about 45 seconds. Beautiful day out, not a cloud in the sky. Well, there's a few clouds out there. You can see here on the engine graph, while we're waiting for Sitzke to come in, how the bars are much lower now because, of course, our pressure, our fuel manifold pressure is much lower, and the engine is running that much cooler. 5 seconds. So we want a right turn. We're letting the autopilot do all the work. Here comes the turn. And there it is. Look out the front window, you can see the change in the horizon. Take the glasses off now because we don't need them.
November 1 Juliet Lima, cleared approach at Auburn, and change to advisory frequency approved.
Cleared approach at Auburn, change to advisory frequency approved, 1 Juliet Lima.
All right, as soon as this comes in, we're going to activate vectors to final. You can do it now.
0.5 miles out on the straight in, 30%.
So you can see over here, the glide slope diamond is coming in.
Hover traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's 8 miles to the west. RNAV 07 will circle the land. 25 will be looking for that inbound traffic. Auburn. Hover traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima 6 miles to the west. RNAV 07 will circle the land. Still looking for that traffic on the 45. Auburn.
So here we are on the localizer, or the RNAV. Here's the glide slope coming. So on the selector for the autopilot, it's still showing altitude hold until we get to the glide slope, and then it'll switch to GS on the bottom right. And we're YATFE. And there it grabbed the glide slope, we could feel it, and then you can see the GS on the bottom right. Let's switch them to here. Let's switch traffic to here and see where it's at.
Traffic Bonanza 5 down the Lima, now 5.
Okay, we're about to hit minimums.
Minimum.
There's our minimums, autopilot disconnect. Now we'll enter the pattern.
Hover traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima is left downwind 25. Auburn.
Auburn traffic, Swift 80791, departing 25, west departure.
Auburn traffic, for Quebec, we're going to do right 360 coming behind the Golden Eagle.
Good idea. There he is, in sight. 1 o'clock. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the gear down. 1, 2, 3, first notch of flaps. Midfield left downwind. 1 waiting to go.
Auburn traffic, Skyhawk 9842 Golf, taking off straight out from runway 25, Auburn.
3 green, first notch.
And the Skyhawk up to Auburn, can you expedite? We're about to turn base here for 25, we're going pretty fast.
Auburn traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's left base 25 Auburn.
Okay, we're blue line. Add a little power.
Gears down for landing.
Thank you. Gonna add a little power here since we had the delay. Okay, he's upwind, he's in the air.
Auburn traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's final 25 Auburn.
Okay, we're gonna go full flaps. So gas undercarriage mixtures up, props where we want them. Funnel the Vazzy Peppy right in.
Auburn traffic, Cessna 3948 Quebec.
Feels like the wind's coming a little bit from the north.
Left downwind, runway 25.
3 green.
Auburn.
Gears down for landing.
That's a reassuring. This plane's got good brakes. Fuel pump's off.
Hovering traffic, Golden Eagle 421 Juliet Lima's clear, runway 25 over.
All right, so thanks for riding along and letting us showcase this 421. And Nancy, if she had a vote, she would vote to keep this plane and sell 513 Sierra Juliet. She's going to get mad at me for this one. But we're going to go back to the early 1900s before the women had the right to vote, and her vote doesn't count. This plane is going to be up for sale, and it's a good plane. It's how I would want it if I was going to keep it. Top overhaul, new exhaust.
Nice panel.
Nice panel, glass panel.
Nice interior.
Really nice interior, nice paint, and it's when it flew here from Ohio in earlier this year, about 6 months ago. It flew 10 hours straight, no issues. Not 10 hours straight. He landed a couple times, but it was not ferried. It was brought out here after the annual, and it flew for 10 hours.